Alright guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back again to Naijafoottv, where we talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria and everything in between. So as you do know, the boys are already in camp and they actually landed yesterday in the Russian camp, and we expect them to start their training today. So hopefully before today runs out, we'll definitely see a couple of media coming out from the camp, pictures, short clips and things like that. It's going to be very interesting, especially now that we've seen a total revamping of the squad. There have been a lot of new inclusions into the squad, particularly a name that just kind of came out of the blues. No one actually saw that word coming, and I'm talking about Olakunle Olusegun, who gets included into the squad. Make no mistake, this man is a really talented player. He's 23 years old. He was part of the Krasnodar team that won their title. He made a couple of appearances, I think as little as 15 or 16, scored a couple of goals and helped them clinch that title. So I mean, if anything, I think it's a good call from Coach Chelle to include this young man and give him the opportunity to show that he also can, hold his ground. And if he seizes this opportunity with both hands and shows his quality and how he can help affect the team in a positive way going forward, then I think Coach Chelle is going to give him subsequent call-ups. So this is definitely like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for this man to seize and become a mainstay in the Nigerian Super Eagles team. But aside from that, guys, there have been some stories coming out of the Super Eagles, Super Falcons camp, and as a matter of fact, they actually have a game today. That game that has long been awaited. It was actually supposed to be played last week, but it was shifted because the Cameroonian women's team, they didn't arrive in Nigeria on time, so that was actually cancelled. And then it was supposed to be played on Monday, being yesterday, but CAF said no, that it didn't fit their calendar, that it should be shifted today. So today is the day that they will play that game, and this game is really very important for the Super Falcons. As a matter of fact, they see this game as the preparation for the Women's African Cup of Nations coming up next month in July. So this match is something that is going to go a long way to see how prepared our girls are. But it's a little bit disappointing because it's just going to be one leg, and I'm having some doubts if one leg is enough to ascertain whether these girls will be fit. Well, I guess it's better than not playing any friendly at all. But as far as the match time for today, it's a 4 p.m. match, and then it's going to be played at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abeokuta, Ogun State. So if you have time for that one, you can catch it as well. But moving outside of that, there's been some statement coming out from Super Eagles legend John Utaka on the fact that Ahmed Musa had to leave the camp because he had to go attend the wedding. Utaka wasn't very pleased with the development of that story because he feels that when you get called up and when you're on national team duty, every other thing has to be aside. So John Utaka believes that there shouldn't be anything that comes in as a sort of distraction or something that removes your focus from playing at the national team when you're in camp. So that news about Musa leaving the camp and having to play one match, leaving the camp and going to attend a wedding when his teammates are all needed in camp, he didn't really like it very much. And when he was speaking with Brilla FM in one of their programs, he expressed his opinion on that matter. In his words, he said, quotes, "We don't know what discussions were held before Musa went to camp. It's a national duty. Things have to be done correctly." So those are some of the things that he said. And if you look at it, it's not trying to shade anybody or or roughly criticize anybody, but he actually is trying to make a point that if Musa knew that he had engagement, during this period that the boys would be in camp, why didn't he just, forget about the call-up, focus on his engagement, his wedding, plan it very well, and then do the wedding, and not it being that he comes into the camp, stays for a little bit, play one or one game or makes a cameo in the first game and then leaves halfway to do the other engagement. So it's something that's calls to question, not just Coach Chelle, but NFF and all of the guys that are responsible for picking these players. Because again, it doesn't matter who you are in the team, whether you are Ahmed Musa, who has the highest cap, or your Osime, or anybody at all. I mean, the most important thing is that there has to be loyalty to the badge, right? So when you get called up, you know that no matter your class in the team or no matter your caliber, you have to concentrate on this game. Except maybe you have a reason that makes it impossible for you to continue. Maybe you have a serious injury and you have to pull off. Like for example, in the cases of Wilfred Ndidi and a few other guys who pulled out. So this is basically the argument that John Utaka is making, and it's not like anyone is saying that doing your wedding is not good or prioritizing your wedding is not good. But at least he knew the time, he knew the dates even before the boys came to the camp. He knew that okay, his wedding was going to fall within this time, and he was supposed to prioritize the wedding and stay and do the wedding and allow the call up to go, and maybe just tell Coach Chelle that okay, he would not be chanced because he has engagements during this period. But as he said, we don't know what conversations were held between Ahmed Musa's team and Coach Chelle and also the NFF. What we just know is that we saw him play just a few minutes in the first game and then had to take excuse, and then later on we got to find out that his excuse was due to him getting married. So that is the argument made by the legend, and for me, I feel like he's obviously on point, especially in the area when he said that we need to be communicated. Like Nigerians need to know these kinds of discussions, what was said, how they came about, these kinds of agreement that he has to play and then leave the camp to go and do wedding. But it's not just about Ahmed Musa, but also we've seen it with other different players. Some kinds of reason that sometimes if you look at it, you feel like this reason is not even enough to go out of the camp, or even if it's enough. I mean, why didn't you just stay out of the camp entirely instead of coming and then later you're leaving? I think NFF has to take responsibility for this one, because they need to be doing more in terms of giving out information as to why these players have been picked. I think there should be a clear criteria that these players have to meet before they get called up, because sometimes you see some of these players get called up and you're wondering why them instead of all of the other guys that you feel that they have performed really well. But when these things are out and you know the criteria, you know the target set for these players, then obviously it will make sense when the list come out and you can compare and see that okay, these players actually deserve to be called up. But I'm not in any way saying that Musa didn't deserve to call up. Of course, we know what he did. He came back to NPFL, led Kano Pillars to a couple of great moments, scored a couple of goals, had some really good wins with the team. So he did his bit, but also it's not very acceptable for you to come to camp and then you have to leave based on a pre-planned wedding that actually happened before you came into the camp. I'm just going to leave it there. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think John Utaka is actually on point when he says that NFF needs to be telling us some of these things and that we should not be left in the dark?